Komuram Bheemudo. It's it's fair to say it's my all-time favorite scene. And I'm calling this a scene because essentially, if you were to see this kind of a scene in a Western film, there'll be a lot of BGM and emotions rising and camera work with a similar treatment of a scene. So this is essentially a scene, Komuram Bheemudo. And it's like the strongest scene of RRR for me, Rajamouli Garu's magnum opus. Big fan of every single frame of his, and it's an absolute honor that I'm alive during the time that he's making movies. So on that note, let's get right down into it. What is the scene at the large before we get into further details? So it's one character tied up and the other character with a whip. Okay. So this we'll call this character one and we'll call this character two. And then there's a group of people. So I'll just draw heads, like a lot of groups of people, which are very key. We'll call this together character three. And then there's a character four. We're just gonna place them here, representing the British Empire, which is the two people standing here. And this represents India. And then the two characters at play here are the central. Okay. So you got so much going on. He's playing on the side of India and he's playing on the side of British, at least on the outside. For the outside, goal. But on the inside, both of them are playing for India. So that's a different thing. Let's just look at the outer dynamics before getting into the inner dynamics. So what's happening here essentially in this scene, and we're gonna start off. Yeah. All right, pause. So basically, this moment is when a god layer to this, which is Mother Earth or something, which comes and literally gives him the message through a leaf that you're great. You should not bow down to the tyranny of evil. Nuvu jeevitamla, do not bow down to the tyranny of forces at play. You can also play it as the individual against the society. You can play it as the individual against the British Empire. That's the beauty of the scene. So that's the message being sent through a leaf. And though on the outside, character two is, appearing weaker, this one event causes him to get to the level of, God energy speaks through him right now. So his inner spirit rises with this one leaf. Carry on. Yeah. And this is a spirit risings, literally. This could also be a flashback in another movie where his father must have told him something. Carry on. God level performance. And that's the British force trying to like showcase that they are powerful. And here on the outside, this guy wins here. But this guy is winning on the inside, which is a real victory. And through that, all of these guys will also like, right now they are feeling low. All of these characters at this point. And as these people, at this two, have a bit of a battle going on, there's an inner battle going on here. Okay? And there was a moment right there where Ram Charan Garu will like wipe a little tear of blood as it comes down. The tears of blood that is shed so many of because he has to go against his own people in order to win a greater goal. అది మనకు తర్వాత తెలుస్తుంది. But that is the thing. There's an inner demon haunting him, and we know this already by now. That which side is playing for మన clear గా అర్థమైపోయింది. So there's an inner battle also going on, outer battle తో పాటు. Carry on. Yeah. And we got to show the breakdown in sequences. It's not going to be one go. There's like, so it was level 1, goes to level 2, goes to level 3, and then goes to level 4. So I'm going to actually zoom in onto these and just mark down what are the levels. First thing is hands, feet. Okay. And the big goal, there's a big goal. Make him kneel. The big goal of the scene really is as simple as make him kneel, but on the outside, but the meaning of making kneel is literally trying to make the country kneel with the British trying to say, I'm going to make the revolt kneel. మీరు నా మీద చేసే తిరుగుబాటుని నేను వంచుతా అనే పొగరుతో బ్రిటిష్ ఆర్ doing this, and that's the goal. And each time we go through these phases to see how the dynamic shift. Carry on. Yeah. And then this is level 2. Okay, pause. Level 2 is lift. And it's so beautiful. It's difficult not to feel emotion as we go through this. There's so much footage of audiences shedding tears at this moment because it's so universal. Even trying to be analytical about this still causes emotion. That's why it's so like works so well. So then is a level 2 of trying to break his spirit, which is lift him and make him weak, which is to make the revolt weak, make the spirit of the country weak. Carry on. Another visual to like give ideas for the next bit of the lyric, and then it starts to affect them. And pause. This is precisely the moment where you see that the spirit of India, which is represented with the crowd, the spirit of the crowd starts to rise, even though the body of the revolutionary starts to cave in, the spirit starts to soar, and that is the key thing. It's like the song encapsulates the movie. Yeah. So there is this very great monologue in Alluri Sitaramaraju, and I can't remember it word to word, but it is like ఫ్రమ్ మీ నా ఒక్కొక్క బొట్టు రక్తం నుంచి 100 మంది రెవల్యూషనరీస్ పుడతారు, 100 మంది అల్లూరి సీతారామరాజులు పుడతారు. హియర్ యాక్చువల్లీ రామ్ చరణ్ గారు ప్లేస్ a version of Alluri Sitaramaraju, and the key lyric here is ఈ రక్తంలోంచి look at the number of revolutionaries that will rise అని ఇక్కడ కొమరం భీముడు character is saying, which becomes, and this is the birth of Alluri Sitaramaraj's character if you actually see, with the blood being shown and the very reminds us of that dialogue that from each drop of my blood will rise 100 more revolutionaries. Yeah. And here we are proceeding to level 3 of the whole thing. Okay. So here clearly anger, the spirit of how dare you, or how unjust is this, how unfair is this, extreme injustice against our own people. And a feeling ni through the crowd, he spreads it all across into the auditorium, and we are all like, wow, so hooked in. This is the stuff that great movies are made of, like truly legendary epics that last decades are made of. Yeah. And this is like level 3 when his body is broken, but he calls out once as his body is broken. He calls out once to all of the crowd here, and through that to all of the audience here, to remember what it means to face injustice, to fight against it, and to not accept injustice. Yeah. And he's calling upon the spirit. You may beat my body, but our spirit will now rise. And this is it. Pause. And then level 4 is when, the spirit wins, the spirit of revolt wins, and hence India wins. And the British Empire actually loses here in this scene. Okay, carry on. And even though, one second, there's a mini battle there happening of Ram Charan Garu versus NTR Garu. Okay, as that is happening, his inner demon is defeated here precisely, as he, on the surface of it, in the eyes of the British Empire, has won, and through that also gets access to the weapons. You see the stakes here. He has to do this. Unko dari ledu. Ram Charan Gari character ki, he has to go through this, because this is the only way he can get the weapons to cause the bigger revolt. But then his inner demon lost. Tanu chayalendi, this one moment of a man's body breaking did. And through very beautiful detail of individual movements, individual powerful movements like these, cut with crowd movements where they're like overthrowing the barricades that try to imprison them. And that is basically the scene design of this movie. It makes a lot of sense to actually note down what makes a great movie tick. What are the greatest scenes? How are the greatest scenes sticking? The way I look at it is, you can play this several ways. Like, this could be like in the middle of a village, or a cricket team captain saying. Also, Rajamouli Garu does this a lot, where on the surface one character loses, like right from Chhatrapati, Prabhas Gari character right at interval is like, his mother is telling that guy died for me, I don't want to like ever bring him up. And then she insults Prabhas Gari character and tells him to get out. But then lopalo she tells the other brother to pray to the Valla Anna photo. So even though he loses the scene, he also wins the scene, Even in Bahubali, I remember where Rana Gari's statue, Ballala Deva's statue is put up. But behind that, ideologically, because uh, Bahubali's son revealed his face for a second, the spirit of Bahubali wins against the tyranny, where in the interval, a bigger Bahubali image appears behind Ballala Deva's image, and that is the interval. So, this on surf, even in Bahubali 2, it's again Rana's character of Ballala Deva winning, being crowned king, and then comes a minister and the war chief or the war minister, which is Bahubali, Amarendra Bahubali and Nenu and Eltadu, and then it's finished. Like the whole crowd, the whole kingdom erupts, and again the victory belongs to. On the surface, Ballala Deva wins, but actually underneath all of that, the real victory goes to Amarendra Bahubali. So this is something he's a master of, and he's repeatedly doing this, and it's something I also hope to learn more of and apply it. So you gotta like look at the principles, not just copy something, because you see there's a lot of storytelling principle under this, and that is the thing to really absorb, and that is the best way to, I think, pay respect to the great filmmakers who are, I think, teaching us beginners that there is a great storytelling principle underneath it, and please learn it on the big screen. And on that note, shut up and shoot. That's another episode of Permit Room.